little too tall, could have used a few pounds. Tight pants points hollering out. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes and points all her own, sitting way up high. Way up firm and high. Out past the cornfields where the woods got heavy. Out in the back seat of my 60 Chevy.
Good morning, good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. It is Wednesday. So excited to have you with us today, and we're going to jump right in it. We have on the line Vicki Robin. She is a prolific social innovator, writer, and speaker. She is co-author with Joe Dominguez of the international bestseller Your Money or Your Life: Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Achieving Financial Independence. It was an instant New York Times bestseller in 1992 and steadily appeared on Business Week's bestseller list from 92 to 97, and it's now available in 11 languages. So this is for more than 25 years. Your Money or Your Life has transformed. That's 9 steps to transforming your relationship with money and achieving financial independence, and it's been helping millions of people. So Vicki Robin, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So excited to have you with us. So tell us about, what prompted you to write all those years ago, Your Money or Your Life?
Well, myself and my partner, Joe Dominguez, have been teaching the program that's in Your Money or Your Life for 10 years. We had a tape course, we had a live seminar. We already had 10,000 people who've done our program. But what we realized was that what we were teaching people is this crazy idea of how to have enough, not more, not less, just enough. That how to eliminate the spending that doesn't bring you any value, and how to spend money on things that really matter. And that we were in a situation in the world where we really wanted to challenge consumerism, this idea that you need to spend more than you have, to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like, that Will Rogers quote. That basically there was something out of control about consumption, and we wanted to reach a lot more people, so we took an opportunity that was offered to us and wrote the book. And it was 7 weeks after the book was published, we were on Oprah Winfrey, and she held the book up and she said, "This is a great book. It's going to change your life." In the next week, it was a New York Times bestseller. So
wow.
It was our opportunity to reach America and to talk to America about this strange bad habit we have of consumerism.
Well, we saw the hangover that came from rampant consumerism about 10 years ago when the craziness came to a crash. But we still are a materialistic society, so that's a pretty big paradigm shift for people.
I don't do small things.
So I love the title. How did you come up with the title, Your Money or Your Life? That sounds like something a thief is going to say to you as they're mugging you, right? Your money or your life.
Exactly. Yeah, it was spontaneous. We actually thought we were calling the book For Love or Money.
Okay.
But we were sitting at lunch. We couldn't remember the title. We were sort of snapping our fingers trying to remember it. And somebody said, Your Money or Your Life. And we think, that's it. And it is the old Jack Benny joke about, the thief, and he's putting the gun in you, and your money or your life. And then Jack Benny says nothing, and he just looks at the audience, and he says, I'm thinking. And our premise is that actually we're not thinking, that we actually are spending our lives to earn money, to buy things, and to go further in debt so that we die in debt. And we're not really examining whether the game is worth the candle. So that's what we wanted to induce, was this pause, this sort of cash register consciousness, where people would consider in their purchasing, is this something I really want? Is this something I really need? Is this something that will really make me happy? And if not, you put it back on the shelf.
So do you think that many in our culture, especially those really ambitious people who are focused on building an empire, do you think they know what they really want?
Oh, that's a really good philosophical question. And what I think in Your Money or Your Life is when you start to use these tools, it's a very simple program that that applies certain simple tools to the flow of money and stuff to your life. When you start using these tools, and do I want it? Do I need it? Is it going to make me happy? You start to realize, I don't know who I am. I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what I really need. So it does actually, that's what I love about this program, is it links up our values and our psychology and our spirituality and our religion with our money habits. So you actually apply these questions and you start to think about, is the money I'm spending buying me a life I love?
So what are some of the questions that you have in the book? What is the first step?
Those are two different things. I mean, I would say that the first step is actually in the second step in our program, which is to realize, that money, we're sort of confused about money. We think that money is success or fame, or, it's a way of keeping score, or it's everybody's got to make a dollar. We have a lot of confusion about money, and what we say money is something that you choose to spend the hours of your life acquiring. So money is your life energy. So when you're spending money, you're actually spending minutes and hours of your life. And when you're doing that, you start to have a different experience of money rather than this sort of abstract thing that you just pull out your credit card and suddenly you possess something that was used to belong to the store. So that first step of realizing that the money I spend represents the hours of my life that I was in the workplace to get it, then you start thinking differently. And we suggest that you track the money that comes into and goes out of your life, because you're curious about where, like that question that you asked, sort of in your late 40s, where is my life going? Well,
I'm right there.
Oh, you track your money, you actually know my life is going to servicing a debt for buying stuff in my 20s that I don't even know what it was. So that's where your life is going.
Wow. Well, how do you teach this to high school students? This should be required reading.
I absolutely agree, and I have formed an LLC with a young blogger who is brilliant, who has a blog called Millennial Money, and together we've created a platform for Your Money or Your Life, at yourmoneyyourlife.com. It's like a home on the web for everybody who's interested in this program and interested in liberating themselves financially. And our goal is to dedicate a large percentage of the proceeds to financial education for young people. We want to create workshops and summer camps, and whatever is out there, we'll support it with our money, or if it's not there, we'll create it, because I agree with you. This needs to be in high school. And my co-author, Joe Dominguez, who passed away in 97, he used to say, who taught you about money? It's not your parents. Your high school teacher knows nothing. So it's nobody around who can teach you this kind of clear thinking about money and stuff. So I want to increase the number of people who can do that. And this is our commitment, to increase the number of people who can educate our young people about money and stuff.
Wow. Well, we are just about out of time. How do people find you, follow you? And I'm guessing you can get your book wherever books are sold.
Correct. The book should be everywhere. And as I say, we created this platform called yourmoneyoryourlife.com. You can come there and sign up, and we're going to be like a magazine of the best bloggers. We're going to have the bloggers on there. We have calculators you can use. We have the original lecture that my partner Joe Dominguez did in the 1980s, which is very precious to me. And we're going to have a lot of educational tools, discussion boards. So there's going to be a lot of support. And we have a mantra in Your Money or Your Life called no shame, no blame. In other words, your financial life could be a mess and it could be very embarrassing to you. But you know what? Everybody else is the same mess. So, come on over, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to find our way through.
That is absolutely beautiful. I am so excited to really dig into this, because it's not something in my family. We didn't talk about money. It was that just wasn't what we talked about, and we didn't ask questions. We didn't. Nothing. So, we've tried to teach our children differently, but they're young adults, and it's a tough thing.
It is, and we also have, that's another part of the New Your Money or Your Life, is I added an element called Money Talks, which is basically simple questions they're not trick questions, they don't have trick answers, but questions you can raise, in your journal with your loved ones, in your book group, in workshops and seminars. You can just raise these questions that open the door to having honest, interesting conversations with other people about their experience of money in their lives. Because I agree with you, we don't talk about it, and we should talk about it. People will talk more about their sex lives than their money lives.
Isn't that true? That is so true.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, thank you so much. What a delight to have you on the show with us today, Vicki Robin. Everybody needs to go out and get this book, Your Money or Your Life. Again, thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you for having me on your show.
So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. We will be right back.
This segment of programming sponsored by Cybertime Network Communications. How's your internet? Slower than what you were paying for? Feeling boxed in with the high cost of the internet? It can be frustrating and expensive, and with net neutrality coming, it's not getting any easier. Ready for a better high-speed internet service? Then you're ready for Cybertime. And they're local and right in your own backyard. Cybertime provides connectivity for all our transmissions you're listening to at KCAA. Cybertime is locally owned and will respond to your needs with the best service. It's crisp, cool, fast, and sleek. Cybertime uses the latest, leading-edge microwave technology to be able to offer clients a safe, reliable, public or private network that fits almost any budget size. Numerous local city agencies rely on Cybertime's microwave private network for their most critical mission applications. You should too. Get connected, stay connected, get smart, get Cybertime. You can Google, text, or call Cybertime Network Communications at 909-795-9559. Cybertime Network Communications in Calamasa.
For several days, you've been craving a juicy, tender steak. So, it's time to satisfy that craving at Tony's Spunky Steer Restaurant. Tony's is located in the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands. At Tony's, you'll have top-notch service and feast on some of the best-tasting prime sizzler steaks in the Inland Empire. The Tri-City Center is located just off I-10 between Alabama and the Tennessee exits in Redlands. Make Tony's Spunky Steer your dining destination for that special occasion. Or if you just want a great steak.
Know your rights and responsibilities. You're a hardworking student. You've grown up here. You're striving and working towards the American dream. You're a dreamer and maybe you need to renew your DACA deferral. Now is the time to take action. On January 9th, the District Court ordered a halt to President Trump's efforts to terminate the deferred action for childhood arrivals or DACA. And now the Department of Homeland Security is now accepting DACA renewal applications. Now you can get free DACA renewal assistance from the TODEC Legal Center. The TODEC Center may also provide you with payment assistance with up to $495 in immigration fees to renew. Stay here, stay home, stay with your family. You're valued, loved, wanted, and needed. Get free legal screening and consultation, application assistance, and legal representation. For more info, search todec.org. That's TODEC.org. Or call for upcoming workshops at 951-943-1955. That's 951-943-1955 for the TODEC Legal Center. And dream on.
Hands can do incredible things. They made every sound in this piece of music. But nothing compares to using them to help save a life. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. It's called hands-only CPR, and it's recommended by the American Heart Association. Visit handsonlycpr.org today. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
This is KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. This is Bon Iver. I just think it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
You fucked it, friend, it's on its head, it struck the street.
All right. So, but that was really an interesting interview.
So I'm actually on their yourmoneyoryourlife.com website reading their little history, and I'm just going to blank on her name. Oh, Vicky.
Vicky Robin.
Yeah, Vicky. When she did the interview with Oprah, the first time it was with her partner Joe, and then she was invited back 2 years later, and she wore the same dress 2 years later when she did the interview again. And I just think that's fascinating. Because why would you go buy a new dress?
Exactly. And but we're like that, right? I mean, so, you go to all these different galas, and you go to and you've got to wear a dress to every a different dress to every one. People want to drive new cars. People want to have the latest whiz bang everything, like all the new gadgets. They want to have a new house. They want to have all, and then you're running a rat race.
So clothing is an interesting issue, because I was thinking about you and I are both clothes horses or clothes hounds. We have way too much clothes, and
I can't get rid of anything. I need, there's stuff I need to get rid of that I don't wear anymore.
Yeah, and so I was thinking to myself, how much clothes does a person need, right? I mean, I have bags, Aaron, bags of shirts that won't even fit in my dresser anymore, and so I just got them all bagged up, and I don't open those bags. I don't go look in those bags, and so I keep thinking to myself, how much clothes does one person need? And, should we go through and cull all that stuff out? And I think the obvious answer is yes, but then the other obvious answer is stop buying clothes, right? I mean, until you really need it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if stuff wears out, or it just, but sometimes you need, sometimes you want to, for women especially, I think, you want to feel pretty. So buying a little new something every now and then, you want that.
Yes, but when we don't have enough drawers to keep it all in, and we've got piles of clothes sitting around because we've got way too much. I'm just saying, I think, it got me thinking.
Okay, so our house does not look like that, folks.
No, it's just a big mountain of clothes, people. That's all. We live in a mountain of clothes. We've burrowed into it, and we just live underneath the pile. No, my point is that, that's where my brain went with this conversation. We could talk about all the junk that's in our garage, right?
Yes.
I mean, that we've bought over the years that is literally just sort of sitting there. I mean, and I think a lot of folks are in that situation. And for a long time, we had a storage unit that we stored all of our extra junk in, and we were paying money to store stuff that we didn't use. Which
is insane.
It is insane.
But we got rid of it. We don't have it.
We did.
Although we do have a storage unit for my late mother's furniture.
Yes.
That we still need to clean out
and
rooms of our house and move stuff in and sell stuff and donate stuff.
I agree. But I mean, it's just fascinating. So I'm interested in reading her book. I thought it was a great interview, and the fact that she wore the same dress 2 years later on the second interview with Oprah, that just spoke to me.
But, I've had people, so I tend to buy practical cars, right? So when we had little kids in our house, we drove a minivan, right? So we chose a minivan because it was practical. They were in soccer, so we needed room for their stuff, and we had exchange students, and so, the average sedan wasn't going to work. But I remember taking people, like I had a client that I needed to take somewhere or whatever, and they got in my minivan, and it was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a minivan. And the thing about it is, it's just a car, folks.
Yes.
And it's a practical car, and I've got kids, and they play soccer, and, I need room for stuff.
Yes.
But, people make judgments. They really do.
They do. And, and that's sad. But, I mean, I like the message of this book that they've written, I mean, it really, I think, speaks to a serious issue that we're dealing with as a society. And we've got to do a better job of handling our money and making good spending decisions.
So, what's interesting, I remember when we were in the Caribbean 5 years ago, and there was a guy who was selling artwork that he'd created. He's selling it on the beach. And I walked up to him, and he's like, oh, we started talking. And I'm like, he's oh, you're from the United States. There's, you can do so much there. And I said, yeah, but, you spend your life in the quest for stuff.
Yeah.
And, we work long hours. We get only a little bit of vacation every year. Is that a quality of life? And he looked at me very strangely. I said, how much time do you spend with your friends and family? It was an interesting conversation. I mean, it's a little perspective changer. Yes, America is a wealthy country. For all of our, for all of our talk about the difficult places in the economy, we do have a lot of homeless people, et cetera.
Yeah.
As a whole, United States is wealthy, but at what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost? There are things in life. Money is not the most important thing in life. And, I believe what the Bible says, you cannot serve two masters. So if money is your master, that's who you serve.
It's true. I sometimes feel like it is. Like we've made some commitments and, we're just slugging away trying to make sure we can meet the next bill, and that's not a good way to feel.
No, and it's our whole culture that does that.
Yeah.
And in many places, they have no choice. We talked about the teachers in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
Where they're doing the work and they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And I feel for them because they really are just slugging away to make ends meet.
Yeah. And there have been times in our life that, you literally, if you miss a paycheck or if something untoward happens, if the car breaks down, we were, out of luck. I mean, there was really no option other than to go begging to a family member to bail us out,
Yep.
And that's a horrible, horrible place to be. And so, to get a handle on this stuff, the sooner you get a handle on this and become sort of financially independent where you can really have choices and make choices that really do align with your values, And that's really what I think that was another key part of her message was, being able to make choices that align with what's really important to you.
So there's an article in Newser that I think that we need to talk about. Cal State San Bernardino has a food bank on campus for students who don't have enough food to eat. And this has actually become a national problem. The Newser asks the question, what freshman 15? A third of college students go hungry. A new survey finds hunger is growing, mostly hidden problem on college campuses. The popular myth that college students gain weight during their freshman year is decidedly untrue for a significant portion of the college population. A new survey finds that 36% of college students in the U.S. don't get enough to eat. The survey, carried out by researchers at Temple University and the Wisconsin Hope Lab, found that 9% of students at two-year institutions and 6% of students at four-year institutions had gone a full day without eating in the month prior to the survey because they lacked enough money for food. 14% and 11% respectively said they had lost weight due to not having enough money for food. The percentages get higher for the less drastic but still disturbing questions. 46 and 40% respectively say they couldn't afford to eat balanced meals. So they could afford, to make themselves a peanut butter sandwich, but or a bowl of rice, but they couldn't afford to have, vegetables with it or any meat with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. This is fascinating to me, and I'm thinking about it in terms of our just finished conversation about economic literacy, that I wonder, how much of this is just bad money management and how much of it really is outside influences. And I'm sure it's a combination of both, right? I mean, I know as a young college student, I wasn't always the best when it came to spending my money, No,
but I was in this percentage, Tobin.
Well, I know.
And so there were days that that I didn't have money to buy food. And I didn't worry about it because, it did what I had to do. But for me, it was, I was paying, and this was at a time when you could do this. I was working my way through school, right? And so, I had to pay for a car so I could get to work. And then I paid tuition and books, and I had to pay for rent because I was completely on my own.
Yeah.
And you make choices. It's like, well, I don't want to be homeless, and I already lived in a ratty apartment in a bad part of town, so I wasn't going to find a cheaper place.
Yeah. And
my car was reliable, and that was good because I had to have that, and I was already working 40 hours a week. And so, there are a lot of people who are in that boat, and now college has gotten more expensive, right? So you can't work full time and work your way through. There's just no way to do it. It's impossible when you're and maybe if you're earning $10 an hour, you're going to get what $20,800 a year. That $20,800 would be your total annual salary, right?
Yeah.
And so, if your tuition is $7,000 of that, that leaves you $14,000 to live on and buy books and, rent and all of those things.
Yeah.
That's not enough money.
No, it's not. It's not. And you're right. I mean, and I'm not trying to diminish this, but I'm just saying that I know that there's probably a certain percentage of these kids that are also making bad spending choices as well. And that was all my point.
Yeah. Well, if somebody cries poor and they've got tattoos up and down their arm, it's like, really, how much did that sleeve cost you?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I don't have a whole lot of sympathy there, but for a lot of students, that's not their reality.
Yeah.
And so maybe they get a Pell Grant, but that's not enough. I honestly, there has to be a day of reckoning. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Cal State system because they're still pretty reasonable, but there has to be a day of reckoning for some of these colleges. It is too expensive to go to school.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's going to be enough young people are like, well, forget it. I'm going to go to the community college and learn how to do a trade, which we don't have enough people doing.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of recent articles about that, the fact that they really need to have more people going into these trades, right? I mean, there's a high demand there, and wages are going up, and so I think that if you've got an interest, that's a definite good pathway.
So it's very interesting, very, very, very interesting food for thought. And I will tell you, donating to Feeding America, which supplies all the local food banks, we had Feeding America on yesterday, is a really good idea. $1 paid for 9 meals.
Yeah.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
And now the Inland News Update with Blake Trolley.
A 70-year-old motorist was killed late on Monday night when he lost control of his Jeep on a freeway in San Bernardino. Another vehicle struck Robert Allen Crompton's overturning Jeep. The San Bernardino man died at the scene on F Street at the Route 259 on-ramp. There's a new lawsuit in the case of a woman accusing the former San Diego County Assistant Sheriff of sexual harassment. Jason Campidonia has more.
A woman claims that she made it known to her boss that former Assistant Sheriff Rich Miller had been making unwanted sexual advances. In the lawsuit, the woman says her supervisors didn't do anything after her complaint. She says that after Miller tried flirting with her, she shot him down, so he demoted her. County officials say she was not demoted, but she was transferred to a different jail facility but kept at her same pay level. Miller recently retired. Jason Campidonia, NBC News Radio.
All right, thank you, Jason. Andrew McCabe is freezing a GoFundMe page after getting more than $500,000 in donations for his legal fund. Tom Roberts has more.
The former FBI deputy director was fired last month just before he was set to retire and collect full benefits. He's expected to sue the government. In a statement, McCabe called himself stunned and extraordinarily grateful for the donations. He was fired for signing off on a media disclosure and misleading investigators. McCabe helped oversee the Hillary Clinton email investigation and called his firing politically motivated. His firing was recommended by a former President Obama appointee within the Justice Department. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
All right, thank you, Tom. Your forecast for today, 80 degrees in Riverside, cooling off to 53 degrees tonight, then heating right back up to 78 degrees tomorrow. With the Inland News Update, I'm Blake Trolley.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Ontario, on the 60 westbound before Vineyard Avenue, a stalled car is partially blocking the carpool lane. There's some stop-and-go traffic backed up from Milliken. In Montclair, on the 10 westbound before Monte Vista, a wreck is blocking the carpool and left lanes. There's stop-and-go traffic from Vineyard. In Pala Mesa, that's San Diego County, on the 15 southbound at Mission Road, a crash is on the right shoulder, but stop-and-go traffic is backed up all the way to the 79 Winchester Road. In Riverside, on the 215 northbound before University Avenue, a wreck is up against the center divider. There's slow traffic from Cactus. The 60 west is slow from Day Street to the 215. This has been your traffic report on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. Patchy fog, then sunshine this morning, a high of 80. Partly cloudy this evening, a low of 53. Fog to start your day Thursday throughout greater San Bernardino, otherwise sunny at 78. Mostly cloudy Thursday night, a low of 53. Partly sunny on Friday and a high of 76. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We got the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here with some important information about debt, your debt. Whether you have a first or second mortgage, you're looking to buy or refi a home or rental property, or just need to consolidate your credit cards to lower your payments and save some serious interest, you need to do some loan financial planning with Steve Alladort, my mortgage man, at loanfinancialplanner.com. Now, Steve's not your garden variety mortgage broker. He actually spends time evaluating how you can use the current super competitive interest rates to pay off your mortgage early. Purchase a rental property, improve your cash flow, upgrade to your dream home, or even help your kids or grandkids get into a house. That's what loan financial planning is all about. Steve's been helping me and my listeners for over 2 decades, and I can tell you he is the best finance guy in the business. Go to loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Or call Steve Alladort at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070.
Hi, this is Bev from Let's Go Shopping with Bev and Friends. If you like to shop the way I like to shop, you got to remember, tune in to each Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. That's right, we moved to Thursday at 3 p.m. with the same fun, laughing, great guests, and fantastic interviews. So remember, tune in at 3 p.m. on Thursday, right here on KCAA 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and 102.3 FM. Ciao!
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California, we are KCAA.
You are on the road, must have a code that you can.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And we have another guest on the line. I'm excited to welcome Michelle. Oh, my goodness. Robinson. Sorry. Forgive me. I've had a lot of Michelles in my life lately. Michelle Robinson. She's the Vice President of National Initiatives at Child Help. She's been there for about 11 years. And today is a special day in the calendar. Today is Child Help National Day of Hope. And on this day, people across the country light a 5-wick candle and observe 5 minutes of silence in recognition of the now nearly 5 children who die each day as a result of abuse and neglect. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Erin and Tobin. We appreciate it.
So why don't you tell our audience who Child Help is?
Absolutely. Child Help is one of the oldest and largest national nonprofits that helps abused and neglected children across the nation. We were founded in 1959. We've saved more than 10 million kids spanning nearly 60 years, and we have bricks and mortar in 4 states. California was our origin state. We were founded in Hollywood by then 2 Hollywood actresses, Sarah O'Meara and Yvonne Feddersen, who stumbled upon orphan children on a USO tour in Japan and ultimately wound up building orphanages not only in Japan but eventually in Vietnam. Were honored by Congress for doing so.
Wow.
And then Nancy and Ronald Reagan, who were in their celebrity circle, said you ought to now shine a light on America's deepest, darkest secret, child abuse and neglect. So what was Orphans International became Child Help USA. This is all the way back in the 1970s, and we've been saving lives ever since.
Now, you have a local, we are here in the Inland Empire. Our studio is in Redlands, California, and we cover all of San Bernardino and Riverside counties, except the far desert areas. And so I think there's a Child Help office here in our region.
There is a Child Help, what we call a village. It is a residential treatment facility, and it is on a sprawling 121 acres. It's a 24-hour, it's really a place where children sort of come home for the first time. There's been such abuse and neglect in their own personal homes. They've bounced in and out of the foster care system and gone from home to home to home, developed even worse behavioral problems. We are really their last hope to rehabilitate them and help them understand what unconditional love is and then develop actual life skills. So yes, right in Beaumont, California, is our Child Help Merv Griffin Village. And at the village, we keep safe approximately 84 children at a time. We always have a waiting list. And the age range is from 6 to 15 years old. Our children are referred by various judicial authorities and child welfare offices. And we provide a variety of treatments that really teach them, proper behaviors, how to interface with children and adults. We educate them right on campus. And then again, like I said, provide clinical therapy, art therapy, recreational and animal-assisted therapy. It's a place where miracles happen every day.
We have talked extensively on this show about what neurological development, how it's hindered by abuse and neglect. And neglect is as bad as abuse when it comes to the development of a young person's, a child's brain. Do you do neurodevelopmental therapy there? I'm totally putting you on the spot. I'm so sorry.
No, you know what? We are always, looking at cutting edge therapies, and so that is a new one for me. I actually have not ever had that question, so I'd have to get back to you on that.
I have to put some context. I run a nonprofit called Infant Toddler Success, and we do parenting programs for parents with children ages 0 to 3, and that's the main crux is to change how parents are wiring their children's brains by abuse and neglect and just not knowing how to do things right.
No, you are absolutely right. That is factual. That, of course, is all based in fact if you've had it on your show, of course, but that is true that severe abuse and neglect, or any forms really of abuse and neglect, definitely impair children's brain development. That is, scientific. So
back to Child Help, and I apologize for throwing you that curveball. Back to Child Help. This village is named for the late Merv Griffin. Was he how obviously he was engaged with Child Help? Did he donate the money for this village?
Merv Griffin did donate the money. He basically was involved with us for years and years. He to date is still our largest donor, and so originally, actually, the property that he donated to us was in Arizona, but over certain times there were issues with the Arizona village being too far outside the city limits, and so that money was gifted to us, and so this village in California was then renamed in his honor for his great gift to the organization.
So what do you all need? Do you need volunteers? Do you need donations? Do you need, more people to get the word out? We know that we're going to be lighting candles tonight. What do you need?
Yeah. Well, we need a host of things. We need people, if they know something, to say something, and there's a very safe and confidential way to do that. We also, Erin, have a National Child Abuse Hotline. Child Help's National Child Abuse Hotline is the only hotline of its kind. It's very specific to child abuse. We get 115,000 calls annually, and
wow.
The service and resources that this hotline provides really save lives. So, for example, if you know of abuse occurring and it's in your social circle, even if it's clear across the state, if it's somebody in Michigan, if it's family or friends in Florida, you can call 1-800-4-A-CHILD, which is 1-800-422-4453. You can talk to a master's level social worker. That's who answers our calls 24/7.
Wow.
And find out, what's the process if this person wants to report about the abuse they know. That is probably the greatest gift you could give to any family. And as scary as it sounds to report, we take you through the steps of this is what would happen if you did report, even though it's clear across the country or right in your backyard. It's a confidential call. And again, we can provide resources county by county to intervene and disrupt any abuse or neglect that you know is occurring. That's one of the best things that anyone can do in this country.
So one of the challenges with a neglected child is, how do you know what's neglect? Does neglect mean they're playing in the front yard by themselves? Which to me would seem like no, but maybe to others it would be. Is neglect that they don't have enough to eat? What does that look like?
It's a great question because it's such a wide range. There's pool drowning that can be neglectful. there are, this opioid epidemic that the nation is experiencing. If there are young parents that are strung out on drugs, they're not taking care of their kids, and their kids are dying. And the rate of death is from 2 years old and younger. And that's where more than 90% of neglect, child-related deaths occur.
Oh.
And so it can be malnutrition. So sometimes even local hospitals or children's hospitals will give courses in, how to properly care for a child. So, but again, calling our hotline, for example, if you knew of neglect occurring, if you saw somebody that was malnutritioned, if you see neglect, the best way to talk about it and figure out how to help it is to call our hotline for resources, because, again, county by county, we can provide those.
So, last question. Tonight today is the National Day of Hope, and you're asking people to light a 5-wick candle and observe 5 minutes of silence. Is there a given time for that?
What we do across the country with our programs and all of our stakeholders is we ask them to gather, whether it's in their boardrooms or around their kitchen or dining room table. Anytime today, this is our most meaningful day. In 2000, Congress passed a resolution designating this first Wednesday of each April as Child Help's National Day of Hope. Those 5 wicks, as you said, represent the 5 children that die every day to abuse. That's what's substantiated reports. And so, yes, any time of the day is a day to remember not only the children who lost their lives, but the children and families that are still battling this epidemic in our nation.
Well, Michelle Robinson, thank you so much for joining us today. I cannot begin to tell you how important the work that you do is, but you know that already. I'm so grateful for everything that Child Help has done since it was founded all those years ago. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the work that you've done as well, and I am going to get back to you on neurodevelopment therapy. Appreciate that curveball. Always good.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Have
Erin.
a great day.
You as well.
All right, so it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we'll be right back.
Empire Today with Blake Troll.
Well, one of Hollywood's major couples is breaking up. Lisa G has more.
Channing Tatum of Magic Mike movie fame and Jenna Dewan Tatum are calling it quits on their 9-year marriage. The couple said in a joint statement to People they have lovingly chosen to split as a couple. They said there are no secrets behind their separation and that their lives are just taking them on different paths. They have a 5-year-old daughter named Everly. Lisa G., NBC News Radio.
This segment of programming sponsored by Cybertime Network Communications. How's your internet? Feeling boxed in with the high costs of the internet? Ready for a better internet service? Then you're ready for Cybertime. Yes, there's an alternative to those big corporate internet service providers. It's Cybertime Network Communications. Cybertime is so good they provide all the connectivity for this radio station. Crisp, cool, fast, and sleek. Cybertime uses the latest leading-edge microwave technology. No wires, no cables, no sharing, and they're able to offer clients a safe, reliable, public or private network that fits almost any budget size. And several cities rely on Cybertime's microwave private network for their most critical mission applications. Get connected. Stay connected. Get smart. Get Cybertime. You can Google, text, or call Cybertime Network Communications at 909-795-9559. That's 909-795-9559.
What if I told you you'd never have to make a house payment again? What if you could pay off much-needed home repairs and even create an income stream based on the value of your home? If you're 62 years old or older, you could be eligible for a reverse mortgage. Call Tim Harrison and find out if a reverse mortgage is right for you. Call Tim at 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475. Tim Harrison, branch manager, NMLS number 170960. Broadview Mortgage Corporation is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. License number 170952. Registered with the Nationwide Mortgage Licensing System and registry number 813B544. Broadview Mortgage, equal housing lender. Remember, if you never want to make a house payment again, except for property taxes, maintenance, and insurance, that's 800-566-2475. That's 800-566-2475. 2475.
KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So glad to have you with us this morning. Want to remind you all the ways you can follow Tobin and me on social media. I am Erin Hunt Brinker on Facebook. I am at Erin Songbird on Twitter, although admittedly, I'm really not on Twitter as often as I should be. I scan news articles, and that's about what I do on Twitter. And then I'm Erin Brinker on Instagram. And Tobin?
I'm just Tobin Brinker everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm easy.
You're easy. So now imagine something that would be so incredibly private to you, but something that you would need to share with, somebody you might be hooking up with. What might that be?
Well, I know the article you're referencing, so I'm going to say...
Okay, dude, really? We're supposed to be on the air. You just say, I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know.
Really, dude? Yes, okay. I said dude. All right, so the reality is, if Grindr users share their HIV status on the gay dating app, they may assume that revelation will stay among themselves, potential partners, and Grindr. But BuzzFeed reported Monday that Grindr shared that data, including HIV status and last date tested, as well as email addresses. So this is not aggregate information. This is identifiable. You, Bob Smith, have said that you are HIV positive on Grindr because Grindr's a hookup site. You think people should know that.
Well,
and now it's been sent to two analytics firms with the only notification to customers in the fine print of its privacy policy.
Yeah, here's the thing: anyone who's been on the internet ever, I think you basically have to have the attitude of anything you put out there can and will be shared at some point.
That is a cop-out.
No,
I'm sorry.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Grindr serves, let's be honest, it is designed for the gay community, right? And so it is supposed to be a safe place for gay people to hook up and meet other people, right? I mean, honestly, it's a hookup website. Yes. It's a hookup app. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But it serves that one particular market. And so for them, this is such an egregious breach.
I bet they hardly lose any business at all.
Because men are men?
Yeah, and because I think a lot of the people who, if they're asking you that question, you're giving that information. People assume. I think people just assume that information. They're going to be ticked that it got sent to someone they didn't want to send to. But I think the attitudes have changed. I don't think people are going to be that. I think people aren't going to be that upset about it. I'd be very surprised if Grindr sees any big drop-off in their membership or people boycotting them or whatever.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's wrong, though. I mean, don't get me don't misunderstand
I'm actually gobsmacked with what you just said.
Yeah.
I am. The Norwegian nonprofit Sintef first uncovered the issue with a researcher there blaming the sharing of info with app optimization firms Aptimize and Localitics. If your business is hard to pronounce, probably should change the name.
Yes.
On developer incompetence. And an Electronic Frontier Foundation researcher notes that even if Grindr has a contract with these firms to keep that data private, that sensitive health information now sits in yet another place, vulnerable to those with malicious intent. I actually find this very disturbing and possibly sinister, said a San Francisco supervisor, Jeff Sheehy. Axios reports on Grindr's reaction, which appeared on Tumblr to clear any misinformation. CTO Scott Chen notes Grindr doesn't sell user info to third parties or advertisers, and that it only shares with vendors when necessary or appropriate. BS. Don't tell me that you didn't give this information away for free. That you gave it away for free. I don't believe. He also reminds users that Grindr's privacy policy clearly spells out that information posted to Grindr could end up in the public eye. All right. How many people read the fine print?
Nobody.
Well, and Grindr's saying, well, yeah, I told y'all, and it was in the fine print. If you didn't see it, then it's your fault. Yeah. You should. They say you should carefully consider what information to include. Still, the company said Monday it would stop sharing customers' HIV status with third-party analytics vendors. NPR notes a lawsuit against CVS Health for an HIV-related breach last summer, in which thousands of letters were sent out with a reference code for an HIV assistance program visible in the envelope window.
Yeah. So these people shared that information voluntarily with Grindr, and I think that most people, just assume anything you put on the internet is going to be shared, and certainly they're going to be upset that it got shared with someone that they didn't intend for it to be shared with. But I don't know that there's going to be this big backlash. I really don't. I mean, I agree that it's wrong that it happened. It should not have happened, but I don't know that there's going to be a backlash, and that's the interesting irony of this, and I think that's what Grindr is counting on as well.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So say I'm a major employer. I'm just going to make up a company, Oogle. Say I'm a major employer at the fictional company Oogle, and I'm looking to hire people, and it's like, well, okay, who's going to cost my insurance company or my insurance premiums? Well, who's going to make them the most expensive? Yeah. Well, I'm going to go on to Grindr and see if I can find this guy and that I'm looking at to see if he's got HIV.
Yeah.
If there's an opportunity to do that, you don't think companies will?
Yeah, I agree. They probably will.
Or to buy that information, or to go to local locally ticks.
Localitics, Aaron. Localitics. This new company called Localitics.
Yeah.
It's a tough name, Aaron.
It is a tough name for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just brain dead. But I think that this is terrible. Yeah. I really do. I think this is private information.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of this site, like I said, is to hook up. And if what happens is that people are no longer sharing that information, you think that's better? You think that's good?
No, I agree. I mean, yeah. And California's actually been on the forefront of sort of liberalizing some of the laws and making sure that first off these folks had protection, and now they've actually decriminalized it so that you don't
have to tell people, and that you can't. It's not a felony anymore.
Yeah, if you don't tell people, and so there's an interesting sort of dynamic I think that's occurred around HIV and AIDS over the last 5 to 10 years.
Well, we'll see. I mean, here's the reality is that people like hooking up. I mean, so maybe they're going to stay with Grindr. I just think that they have one market.
Yeah,
they have one market. And you think that they would be more careful with the data to keep that one market happy. I don't know.
Indeed.
So we are at the end of our show for today. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we, I guess we'll be back tomorrow. I was going to say we'll be right back, but no, we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3